The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie blood-red glow through the dense canopy of the trees that covered the forest. It was a night of dread, a full moon night, and Alex, a lone adventurer, had embarked on a camping trip to this forsaken part of the woods, drawn by the terrifying legend of the abandoned tent that only appeared on such cursed nights. For years, campers had whispered of the tent that materialized in the heart of the woods, far from any established camping sites. The stories surrounding it were chilling, ranging from tales of long-lost souls to sinister supernatural forces. Some claimed it was a portal to the underworld, while others believed it was a haunt of vengeful spirits. Driven by a morbid curiosity, Alex had chosen to face the horrors that awaited. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the moon's malevolent light grew more intense, bathing the surroundings in a ghastly crimson hue. The forest seemed to close in around them, the trees appearing like twisted skeletal fingers, reaching out to grasp them. Alex shivered uncontrollably, their flashlight shaking in their trembling hand. "Should I really be here?" they wondered aloud, their voice barely a whisper, but they couldn't turn back now. The lure of the unknown, however terrifying, compelled them to continue their nightmarish journey. Hours crawled by, and the forest offered nothing but endless eerie silence. Their initial enthusiasm had long been replaced by an overwhelming sense of dread. Alex checked their watch and swallowed hard. "It's nearly midnight. Maybe I should abandon this madness and head back to the campsite." Just as they were about to succumb to their fear and turn away, an unholy glow beckoned them through the trees. It was a flickering light, sickly crimson, like the evil eye of an entity guiding them deeper into the cursed forest. Alex's heart pounded with fear, but they followed the sinister light. The closer they got, the more it became apparent that the light emitted from an ancient lantern, and beyond the lantern's baleful glow, they saw it. The abandoned tent. It was a descript canvas tent, its fabric torn and stained, bearing the weight of unspeakable horrors. Terror gripped Alex as they approached the tent. They hesitated, but then reached out to touch the canvas. It was icy cold to the touch, sending a shiver down their spine. "It's really like a nightmare." With trembling hands, they unzipped the tent's entrance and peered inside. What they found defied all reason. The interior was a scene from a macabre dream. Decomposing bodies lay in the grotesque contortions, their empty eye sockets staring into an abyss. The stench of death and decay hung heavy in the air, suffocating Alex. Panicking, they stumbled backwards, their heart racing. The tent had transformed into a nightmarish charnel house. It was a place of unspeakable horrors, a portal to the darkest depths of human fear. Alex's breath came in ragged grasps as they struggled to escape the grotesque scene. They stumbled blindly into the forest, but the path they had taken had vanished. The trees whispered hateful secrets, and the shadowy figures danced in the corner of their vision. The very earth seemed to pulsate with sinister intent. Hours turned into an eternity, and exhaustion drained the last vestiges of their strength. Alone and besieged by terror, Alex huddled amidst the darkness. It was then that an unholy voice, like the wail of a damned soul, pierced the night. A voice that seemed to emanate from the bowels of hell itself. "You have dared to trespass in my domain," the voice hissed, a chorus of agonized souls echoing in words. "You have unlocked the gateway to your own torment." Tears of despair flowed down Alex's face as they quivered and whispered, "I didn't want this. Please let me go." But the voice continued, "There's no escape, for you have awakened the ancient evil that dwells within. You shall forever be imprisoned in this cursed realm." Suddenly, a seething darkness enveloped Alex. A blood-curdling scream tore from their lips as they were plunged into an abyss of eternal terror. Alex's screams echoed through the cursed forest, absorbed by the trees as if they fed on the fear. The darkness pressed in around them, a suffocating presence that seemed to seep into their very soul. Every nightmare they had ever known converged into a horrifying reality. In the black abyss, time lost all meaning. Alex felt as though they were trapped in a never-ending nightmare, tormented by the grotesque visions and the nightmarish sounds. Ghostly whispers filled the air, each voice more wretched than the last, taunting and mocking. Their sanity began to unravel, and the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred. Shadows withered and contorted, forming grotesque shapes that seemed to feed on their terror. Eyes stared from the depths of the darkness, their gazes filled with unspeakable malice. Alex's torment seemed endless until, at last, they glimpsed a faint glimmer of light in the distance. It was a feeble, wavering glow, but it offered a shred of hope in the suffocating darkness. Driven by desperation, they stumbled towards it. As they drew closer, the light took shape, revealing itself to be the eerie lantern from the abandoned tent. It flickered ominously, casting dancing shadows that twisted and withered like malevolent specters. The tent itself materialized before them, its canvas tattered and stained with the horrors it concealed. The scene inside was even more gruesome than before. The mangled bodies contorted in unimaginable agony, their lifeless eyes locked onto Alex. The stench of death was overpowering, and the air was thick with an unholy presence. Alex's sanity teetered on the edge of oblivion, and they were gripped by a paralyzing dread. But a sinister voice, colder and more malice than before, echoed through their mind.
"You are mine now, forever bound to this cursed realm."
With a surge of willpower, Alex turned away from the gruesome tableau and fled from the tent, determined to escape the clutch of the force that held them captive. They stumbled blindly through the forest, the nightmarish horrors in the cursed woods pursuing them relentlessly. The trees themselves seemed to twist and contort, their branches reaching out to ensnare Alex like skeletal fingers. The very ground beneath their feet seemed to shift and betray them, creating treacherous obstacles that threatened to drag them down into the abyss. But Alex's determination burned brighter than their fear. With every ounce of strength, they pushed forward, driven by a desperate need to break free from the nightmarish grip of the forest. As they ran, the ghostly whispers of the damned grew louder, their taunts and jeers echoing through the cursed woods. Alex felt as though they were being pursued by a legion of vengeful spirits, each one more spiteful than the last. Just when they thought they could go no further, a faint glimmer of moonlight broke through the oppressive darkness. It was a thin silver of hope, a beacon of salvation. Alex sprinted towards it with all their remaining strength. As they burst through the edge of the cursed forest, the bitter darkness receded, retreating back into the depths of the wood. The air outside the forest was crisp and clear, devoid of the suffocating dread that had plagued them. Gasping for breath and drenched in cold sweat, Alex collapsed to the ground, their heart still pounding with fear. But the horrors they had witnessed would haunt them forever. The legend of the abandoned tent deep in the accursed woods had claimed another victim, leaving Alex forever scarred by the terrors of that fateful night. In the days that followed their escape from the cursed forest, Alex was haunted by vivid, gruesome nightmares. The voices, the grotesque apparitions, and the unspeakable horrors they had witnessed continued to torment their every waking and sleeping moment. No one believed their harrowing tale, dismissing it as the product of a fevered imagination or the result of sleep-deprived hallucinations. But Alex knew the truth, and the truth had left them forever changed. Determined to unravel the mysteries of the cursed forest and confront the ancient evil that dwelled within, Alex embarked on a quest for answers. They scoured libraries, consulted with occult experts, and delved into the dark corners of folklore and legend. It was during their research that they stumbled upon obscure manuscript hidden away in the archives of a long-forgotten scholar. The manuscript spoke of an ancient curse that had plagued the forest for centuries, a curse born of dark rituals and blood sacrifices. According to the manuscript, the forest had been a sacred site for a cult that worshipped a malevolent deity known as the Eternal Desolation. The cult had performed unspeakable rituals to appease their god, and in return, they had been granted unnatural power and immortality. But the cult's insatiable hunger for power had led them to commit even more heinous acts, until the very forest itself had become a prison for their souls. The tent, a cursed relic of their rituals, served as a gateway to their nightmarish realm. Alex realized that they had unwittingly stumbled upon the domain of these vengeful spirits, imprisoned for eternity within the cursed woods. They also understood that their escape had not gone unnoticed by the entities. Driven by a sense of responsibility and a burning desire for redemption, Alex devised a plan to confront the evil that had ensnared them. Armed with the knowledge gleaned from the manuscript and guided by a newfound determination, they returned to the cursed forest, prepared to face the horrors that awaited. The forest welcomed them with its twisted trees and eerie silence, but Alex was no longer a mere victim. They carried with them ancient incantations and protective charms, and their resolve burned like a beacon in the suffocating darkness. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they felt a malevolent presence of the vengeful spirits closing in on them. The very trees seemed to writhe in agony, and the whispers of the damned grew louder, their voices filled with anger and despair. But Alex pressed on, undeterred by the nightmarish apparitions that assaulted them. They knew that the key to breaking the curse lay within the abandoned tent, the gateway to the realm of the cult. Reaching the tent, Alex recited the incantations and performed the rituals outlined in the manuscript. The canvas of the tent quivered, and it seemed to come alive, as if resisting their efforts. But Alex's determination was unwavering, and with a final incantation, the tent's fabric ripped open, revealing a vortex of darkness. Before them stood the cult, their twisted forms and tormented souls bearing witness to centuries of suffering. The cult's leader, a once powerful sorcerer, glared at Alex with hatred burning in its spectral eyes.
"You cannot banish us,"
he hissed, his voice a cacophony of voices.
"We are bound to this cursed realm for all eternity."
But Alex stood their ground, their heart filled with compassion and determination. "You may have been condemned to this realm, but I offer you a chance for redemption. Release your hold on this forest and find peace with the afterlife." For a moment, the cult hesitated, their spectral forms wavering, and then, with a collective wail of anguish and acceptance, they began to dissipate into the darkness, their tortured souls finally finding release. The cursed forest seemed to sigh with relief, and the oppressive darkness lifted, replaced by a gentle moonlit night. Alex had broken the curse, and the ancient evil that had plagued the woods for centuries was no more. As they left the forest, Alex felt a sense of closure and redemption wash over them. They had confronted the forces that once ensnared them, and in doing so, they not only saved themselves, but also lifted the curse that haunted the cursed woods for generations. The legends of the abandoned tent deep in the accursed woods would live on, but it would now be a story of redemption and triumph over evil, a testament to the enduring power of determination and compassion in the face of unspeakable horrors. And Alex, forever changed by the nightmarish ordeal, would carry the memory of their harrowing journey as a reminder of the darkness that dwells within and the light that can emerge from even the bleakest of nightmares. Thank you for listening to The Echoes of the Abandoned Tent. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like, and if you enjoy hearing stories from me, please subscribe and become a resident of Hill Street, and let me know how I'm doing in the comments. And I hope all of you have a fantastic night.